Most people reach this question quietly, not during a crisis, not in the middle of chaos, but in a strangely calm moment when something still feels wrong. On the surface, life looks functional. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're working, adapting, surviving. Yet there's a low, persistent discomfort underneath it all, and eventually, a thought forms. Maybe the world is the problem. Or maybe it isn't. At first, blaming the world feels reasonable. The pace is fast. Expectations are high. Everything feels competitive, performative, and endlessly demanding. You're constantly being told to improve, achieve, optimize, keep up. Social systems feel impersonal. Work feels draining. Conversations feel shallow. Even rest feels conditional, like something you have to earn. So when you feel overwhelmed, disconnected, or dissatisfied, it makes sense to point outward. Anyone in this environment would struggle, right? Psychologically, externalizing discomfort is often the first stage of awareness. It's easier to say the world is broken than to ask harder questions about how you're relating to it. None of that is imagined. But here's where the question becomes more complex. Because once you notice that not everyone is experiencing the same level of distress, the blame can quietly turn inward. Maybe I'm too sensitive. Maybe I'm not strong enough. Maybe I'm failing at something everyone else understands. And suddenly, the problem feels less external and more personal. This back and forth between blaming the world and blaming yourself creates a psychological tension that many people live in without ever naming. The mind wants a clear answer. Either the world is the problem, or I am. But reality rarely works in such clean binaries. Psychology suggests that distress often comes from a mismatch. They followed the rules. They met expectations. They stayed responsible. But somewhere along the way, they lost alignment. The world didn't necessarily attack them. It simply didn't accommodate who they were. And instead of questioning the environment, they questioned themselves. There's also a psychological illusion at play. When distress is widespread, it gets normalized. Everyone is tired. Everyone is stressed. Everyone is overwhelmed. So suffering stops feeling like a problem and starts feeling like a requirement. If you're not struggling, you're not trying hard enough. This belief quietly shapes identity. You begin to equate worth with endurance. And in that framework, questioning the world feels like weakness. But endurance without meaning erodes the self. Humans aren't built to just withstand life. They're built to participate in it, to feel engaged, purposeful, connected. When those elements are missing, something inside begins to protest. That protest can look like anxiety, apathy, irritability, or a vague sense that life is passing you by. And again, the question returns. Is the world the problem, or is something else happening? The deeper psychological answer is often uncoverable. The world isn't entirely the problem, but it also isn't neutral. And you aren't broken, but you may be misaligned. This middle ground is harder to sit with because it doesn't offer a simple villain. It requires responsibility without self-blame, awareness without condemnation. Many modern environments reward speed, visibility, and constant output. But not all nervous systems thrive under those conditions. Some people need depth, slowness, reflection, autonomy. When they try to force themselves into systems that don't honor those needs, distress emerges. Not because they're incapable, but because they're incompatible with certain structures. Compatibility is rarely discussed, but it matters more than capability. Another overlooked factor is identity diffusion. When the world constantly tells you who to be, what to value, and how to measure success, it becomes easy to lose a clear sense of self. You chase goals that don't energize you. You adopt values that don't resonate. You compare yourself to standards you never chose. And when those pursuits feel empty, you assume something is wrong with you. But emptiness is often a sign of borrowed meaning. Psychologically, humans need authorship, a sense that their life is self-directed, not just responsive. When that sense is missing, even comfort can feel hollow. You may have stability, but no vitality. Options, but no clarity. Freedom, but no direction. And again, the world becomes an easy target. But the deeper issue is disconnection from inner guidance. This doesn't mean you need to reject the world or escape society. It means you need to renegotiate your relationship with it. Instead of asking, "How do I survive this world?" the question becomes, "How do I participate in it without losing myself?" That shift is subtle but powerful. It moves you from passive endurance to conscious engagement. Many people never make this shift. They assume dissatisfaction is just part of adulthood. That feeling disconnected is normal. That fulfillment is unrealistic. So they cope, they distract, they numb, they keep going. And from the outside, they look fine. But internally, there's a quiet resignation. A belief that life is something to get through, not something to inhabit. But psychology shows that meaning isn't found by fixing the world or fixing yourself. It's found by aligning your inner values with your outer actions. When that alignment improves, the same world feels different. Not easier, but more navigable. Challenges feel purposeful instead of draining. Effort feels chosen instead of imposed. This is why two people can live in the same world and experience it completely differently. One feels crushed by it. The other feels challenged by it. The difference isn't toughness. It's alignment. When your life reflects what actually matters to you, friction decreases. Not because the world changes, but because you're no longer constantly resisting yourself. So is the world the problem? Sometimes, yes. It can be harsh, fast, and misaligned with human rhythms. But is it the only problem? Rarely. Often, the deeper issue is that people adapt outwardly while disconnecting inwardly. They survive systems that don't fit them instead of slowly shaping a life that does. This realization can feel destabilizing at first because it removes easy blame. It also removes learned helplessness. It places you in a position of agency, not total control, but meaningful choice. Choice about what you prioritize. Choice about where you invest energy. Choice about what definitions of success you accept. And that choice is uncomfortable because it comes with responsibility. It means you can no longer fully blame the world, but you also don't have to blame yourself. You can acknowledge reality while still honoring your needs. You can participate without disappearing. The most psychologically mature position is this: the world is challenging, but your suffering is not proof that you're failing at it. It's information. Information about misalignment, about needs that aren't being met, about values that aren't being expressed. When you listen to that information instead of silencing it, the question changes again. It's no longer, is the world the problem? It becomes, what kind of life am I trying to build within it? And that question doesn't have a universal answer. It has a personal one that unfolds slowly, through awareness, adjustment, and courage. The world may not change quickly, but your relationship to it can. And that change often makes all the difference.